Three 400-pound scimitar cats are tracking your footprints across the permafrost. The biting glacial wind cuts through your reindeer hide tunic. You stand 300,000 years in the deep past, separated from your hunting clan on an endless sweep of sub-zero European grassland. A low guttural rasp vibrates through the permafrost beneath your bare leather wraps. How will your body survive when Pleistocene apex predators select you as their prey? The ancient landscape offers nowhere to hide. Gravel ridges stretch toward distant ice sheets. This harsh world belongs to the Middle Pleistocene epoch, a prehistoric era lasting from 700,000 to 120,000 years ago that reshaped the planet with expanding glaciers and colossal mammalian carnivores. Your fingers tighten around a single sharpened wooden pole. Can an upright primate without claws outmaneuver the most dangerous feline hunting guild in evolutionary history? The animals pacing you are not standard big cats. They belong to an extinct genus called Homotherium latidens. Paleontologists identify this beast as the European scimitar cat, a 400-pound predator armed with broad, serrated hunting fangs that functioned as heavy slicing blades. Its muscular body slopes sharply downward from towering front shoulders to compact rear legs. Why did natural selection design this apex carnivore with the sloping posture of a spotted hyena? The secret rests in its endurance mechanics. Modern big cats tire quickly in open chases. Evolutionary biologists describe the scimitar cat's skeletal blueprint as cursorial locomotion, meaning an anatomical design engineered specifically for long-distance pursuit across treeless plains rather than explosive ambush dashes. Homotherium evolved lightweight limb bones and vast lung capacity to jog down exhausted targets for miles. Do your leg muscles possess the aerobic stamina to outrun a carnivore built for endless pursuit? Your nervous system makes that calculation instantly. Your pulse surges past 150 beats per minute. The sympathetic nervous system releases a sudden torrent of adrenaline into your bloodstream, widening the bronchial passages inside your lungs to take in maximum oxygen while constricting peripheral vessels in your skin. This automatic biological reflex shunts warm, oxygenated blood directly to your large muscle groups for immediate explosive movement. Will this ancient fight-or-flight cascade keep your limbs moving before the pack closes the distance? The lead cat steps clear of a frost-covered boulder. Coarse sandy fur ripples over its heavy shoulder blades. Dr. Mauricio Anton at the National Museum of Natural Sciences in Madrid dedicated decades to reconstructing the internal anatomy and biomechanics of scimitar cats through high-resolution fossil scans. His morphological research proves that Homotherium possessed unusually large optic lobes and enormous nasal cavities inside its skull to fuel prolonged chases. These cranial structures gave the predator razor-sharp daylight vision and immense oxygen intake during high-speed chases. Did you assume saber-toothed predators only hunted under the cover of pitch-black night? Daylight provides zero protection on this open steppe. You are facing a diurnal predator. Paleontologists use this term to describe active daylight hunters that track their quarry under the bright glare of the midday sun rather than skulking in darkness. Two younger cats peel away from the ridge and flank your position from the east. How can three massive carnivores synchronize their movements across barren ground without uttering a sound? The answer lies in their complex social intelligence. They lived and hunted in cooperative family packs. At the famous archaeological site of Kent's Cavern in Devon, England, Professor Daniel Shreve analyzed deep Pleistocene cave strata filled with shattered juvenile woolly mammoth skeletons dragged into dark limestone chambers by scimitar cat packs to feed their growing cubs. These social carnivores shared kills and protected dependent pack members within secure dens. Are you standing directly in the crosshairs of a coordinated family hunting strategy? Your ancestors evolved their own biological marvels to counter open-air hunters. Sweat beads along your forehead despite the freezing air. Early humans developed millions of eccrine sweat glands across bare skin, a specialized glandular cooling system that dumps excess metabolic heat through evaporative sweating so two-legged runners can travel for hours without suffering fatal heat stroke. This unique human endurance adaptation allows your body to jog across vast plains under the sun. Can your evaporative cooling save you from predators closing the gap at 30 miles per hour? You begin a slow retreat toward a distant spruce ridge. You keep your eyes locked on the lead female. Predatory carnivores possess an automatic chase reflex that triggers an immediate killing sprint the instant a target turns its back to flee across open ground. The left cat matches your backward pace stride for stride across the frosted moss. What happens if your leather shoe slips on the loose gravel beneath your feet? A sudden metallic scent cuts through the crisp pine air. The wind shifts violently from the north. Just beyond a fractured limestone ledge lies the half-devoured carcass of a juvenile straight-tusked elephant, surrounded by torn muscle, splintered ribs, and trampled crimson snow. The scimitar cats were never tracking you across the steppe to hunt you down as random prey. You have unknowingly walked directly into the defensive perimeter of their fresh kill. Could this territorial standoff be far more hazardous than an ordinary predatory chase? You are no longer viewed merely as potential meat. You represent a competing scavenger arriving to steal their food. Paleontologists describe this bitter evolutionary rivalry as sympatric competition, the direct contest between two predator species inhabiting the exact same geographical territory and competing for identical megafauna prey. Professor Bienvenido Martinez Navarro at the Catalan Institute of Human Paleoecology documented extensive fossil records at ancient European sites demonstrating that early humans and machirodont cats engaged in perpetual conflict over elephant carcasses. The lead cat drops low against the turf and bears two 4-inch serrated enamel blades. How does a scimitar cat inflict fatal damage compared to a modern lion? Modern big cats kill through slow suffocation. A lion clamps its heavy jaws onto the throat of its prey. A scimitar cat executes a lightning-fast strike known as the canine shear bite, driving its flattened, razor-sharp upper teeth into vulnerable soft tissue with tremendous neck muscle force to sever major blood vessels in a single slicing pull. Because its flattened teeth could shatter against dense bone, the cat directs its attack exclusively at the exposed throat or abdominal wall to trigger catastrophic blood loss within 30 seconds. Can you keep those fragile enamel daggers away from your exposed neck? The left flanker launches into a sudden low sprint. Frozen turf explodes beneath heavy padded paws. You drive the butt of your wooden spear into the ground, raise your arms to expand your silhouette, and unleash a thunderous roar from the depths of your lungs that echoes off the limestone cliffs. Your dropped larynx, a unique human anatomical trait that allows vocal communication, generates a deep acoustic shockwave across the valley. Why does a 400-pound hypercarnivore hesitate before a shouting, upright human? Predators in the Pleistocene lived on razor-thin survival margins. A single pierced eye or fractured jaw meant slow starvation. The charging cat skids across the icy dirt, digging its front claws into the soil just 8 feet from the fire-hardened point of your wooden javelin. It releases a deep rumbling hiss that exposes the dark pink gums anchoring its serrated canines. You maintain unbroken eye contact while taking deliberate backward strides toward the timberline. Will this psychological standoff hold while you navigate the rocky slope toward the trees? You reach the outer perimeter of dense spruce and dry brush. Fallen timber and brittle pine branches cover the forest floor. At the world-renowned archaeological excavation of Schöningen in northern Germany, a research team directed by Dr. Jordi Serangeli unearthed pristine wooden hunting javelins crafted 300,000 years ago by Middle Pleistocene humans. These perfectly balanced aerodynamic weapons, carved from the dense heartwood of slow-growing spruce trees, were found alongside the butchered skeletal remains of horses and scimitar-toothed cats. The archaeological record demonstrates that your ancestors were not defenseless victims trembling in fear. Did ancient humans possess the technological ingenuity to actively kill the very apex predators that hunted them? You reach into your hide belt for 2 mineral nodules. You strike a flint nodule against a lump of iron pyrite. Brilliant white sparks cascade directly into a prepared nest of dried tinder fungus and crushed dryas leaves until a bright golden tongue of fire flares into life. You feed dry pine resin and dead spruce twigs into the expanding blaze until a crackling wall of heat and pungent pitch smoke billows toward the open steppe. How does an Ice Age superpredator respond to the sudden appearance of controlled flame? The 3 scimitar cats pace restlessly along the perimeter of the smoke cloud. Dancing orange reflections flicker across their large amber eyes. Their acute olfactory senses, evolved to detect fresh blood across miles of frozen wilderness, are completely overwhelmed by the choking vapor of burning wood and pitch. The dominant female emits a short raspy bark to call off the offensive maneuver. One by one, the heavy cats turn their sloping backs on your fire and trot back toward the elephant carcass on the distant ridge. Can you sense the overwhelming surge of relief flooding your trembling limbs? Your racing heart slowly settles as your parasympathetic nervous system engages. This internal biological brake network releases acetylcholine to lower your pulse and restore metabolic calm after extreme danger. Your ancestors survived countless confrontations with terrifying hypercarnivores across hundreds of thousands of years on the Eurasian frontier because their minds harnessed social cooperation, lethal projectile technology, and the absolute mastery of fire. Every single sensory reflex in your body was refined through life and death encounters on those ancient hunting grounds. Why does your chest tighten with adrenaline when you hear an unexpected twig snap in the dark? You carry that ancient defensive wiring within your modern biology every single day. When a sudden shadow triggers an instant spike in your blood pressure, your body is executing the exact survival protocol that saved your ancestors from primeval ambush. You are the living product of an unbroken lineage of survivors who stood their ground against the greatest carnivores the earth has ever known. 3 scimitar cats once stalked your ancestors across the frozen steppe, but that terrifying pursuit forged the very instincts keeping your modern body alive.